You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-Mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-Mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Monday, 18th day of September, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First live broadcast is our live training room. That's reserved for members only and those taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, just go to mytradingiq.com and the link is at the top of the page. This broadcast is open to the public. There are 2 different ways you can join this broadcast live. The best way is to go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast, click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. Going forward, every trading day, about an hour before this broadcast starts, you'll get an email. In the email, there'll be a link. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. That gives you access to the question box so that you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, you may want to join live, but you're out of the office. You can do that on our YouTube channel. And if you're busy and can't join live, but want to check it out later, you can also do that. youtube.com/CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Also, if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a great way to get to know who we are, not just today or this week, but over the years. Thanks to YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, even more, and just pick a day at random. Pick a few days at random. You'll quickly see the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast. Garrett's going to be joining us today in about 10 minutes. So let's open up with a word of prayer in our daily devotional, as we do every day. And that should put us right about the time Garrett joins us. Now, our topic for the devotion for the last few days and for the next couple days, it's based on a book written by Stephen Furtick called Sun, Stand Still. Hebrews 13:5 is our scripture. I'll share that with you from the Message translation. Don't be obsessed with getting more material things. Be relaxed with what you have. Since God assured us, I'll never let you down, never walk off, and leave you, we can boldly quote, God is there, ready to help. I'm fearless, no matter what. Who or what can get to me? Again, that's Hebrews 13:5 and 6 from the Message translation. So today we'll talk about seizing the vision. Now, This is a quote from the book that Pastor Furtick wrote. Most nights I slip into my boy's room, he has 2 boys, after they're asleep. Just barely place my right hand on their heads and whisper, God, raise up my sons to be the greatest men of God, their generation. I tell them that I'm praying this for their lives when they're awake too. Of course, they don't understand many of the implications of this, but one day they will. I'm just trying to stock their hearts with raw material that God can use to build a vision within my boys when they're older. Now, my grandmother used to come into my bedroom when I stayed at my grandparents' house, which was a lot when I was young. There was never a night that she did not pray over me before I went to sleep. And when my son Gabriel came to live with me at the age of 4, because she had planted that seed inside of me, I continued in the same vein. Raise a child in the way that they should go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. So every night, I would read to Gabriel from his favorite book, and then we would pray, and he would sleep. What I'm trying to make has very little to do with me and my son. It has everything to do with you and your vision. If you want to see God do something impossible in your life, you have to open your heart and mind to God's vision for your life. You have to seize it. Joshua, who we've been talking about for the last few days, has been a faithful second in command for many years. But talk about having a tough act to follow. For the Hebrews, Moses was a legend in his own time. The president, chief justice, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, all rolled up in one. But now he is dead, and Joshua is next in line. Joshua's term of office is starting at a perilous moment in the nation's history. People are about to try to take Canaan from several people groups who aren't exactly eager to vacate their premises and just hand it over. The vision isn't in question. Occupy the promised land. But before that can happen, Joshua has to seize the vision. And judging by the number of times that be strong and courageous shows up in Joshua 1, apparently God knew this leader was scared of failing. But God steps in with encouragement. Just as God was with Moses, so he will be with Joshua. God promises, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Interesting how he says the same thing to us. Hebrews 13:5. So Joshua seizes the vision. We know this because practically within moments he is issuing orders to get the camp underway. Joshua 1:10. If you've received a vision from God, you need to seize it too. Don't waver or put it off. Stop trying to have all the answers before launching out in faith. All God needs is all you've got. So give it to him today. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we gather in your presence today, we are reminded of the reassuring promise you've given us in Hebrews 13:5, that you will never leave us nor forsake us. Lord, in a world filled with uncertainties and changes, we find our true stability and security in you. We thank you, Lord, for your unwavering faithfulness. You are the one constant in our lives, the rock upon which we can always stand. Your presence is our refuge and strength. And we take comfort in knowing that you are with us in every season of life. Help us, Lord, to anchor our hearts and minds in the truth of your promise. In times of doubt or fear, may we recall that you are by our side, providing us with the courage to face whatever challenges come our way. In a world that often encourages us to seek security in material possessions or human relationships, remind us that our ultimate security is found in you alone. May we not be swayed by the transient things of this world, but remain steadfast in our trust in you. Lord, teach us contentment, just as Hebrews 13:5 encourages us to be content with what we have. Help us to find joy and peace in your presence, recognizing that you are enough and your grace is sufficient for all of our needs. We also pray for those who may be feeling lonely or abandoned, that they may experience your comforting presence. Let them know that you are the ever-present friend who sticks closer than a brother. May the truth of Hebrews 13:5 resonate deep within our hearts and guide us in all our decisions and actions. Thank you for your unwavering love and presence in our lives. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. Well, happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. See if Garrett's made it in yet. Nope, not yet. So let me give you the numbers real quick from around the world. Start here in the U.S. with the cash markets or the indices. The Dow is up 68 points. NASDAQ is up 18. S&P 500 is up 9. And the Russell 2000 is down 4. Pretty quiet sideways trade. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up $1.22, trading $91.99 last. That's a gain of over 1.25%. Gold up $4.60, trading $19.50 last. That's a gain of not very much. And same with silver, up 5 cents, trading $23.44 last. Both gold and silver are up just shy of 1/4 point. Okay. Garrett seems to be having some kind of problem logging in, so we send him an invitation. Hang on for me just a second. So maybe he will be joining us, maybe he won't. Hang on and we'll see. We'll see if that gets him in. Let me try it again. All right, we'll try it again. All right, we'll see if that does the trick. He says he got it, so we'll see if he's able to log in. While he's trying to log in, we've issued 4 alerts this week. All 4 ran to their full target, 100%, nothing stopped out. We'll take a look at the charts themselves a little later. Still waiting on Garrett to log in. All right, while he's logging in, we'll take a look at this. Daily chart, yes. That's where we always start. So we've been talking about this head and shoulders pattern for quite a few weeks now. We got the left shoulder, we got the head, got the right shoulder. At this point, it looked like the pattern might fail if we took out that trend line, but we didn't. Came back down. On this day, it looked like perhaps we would pop through that trend line, but on Friday we failed. And we're right at the 24% fib retracement on the daily chart. It's based on the low of March 13th to the high of July 27th. And then down here at the 38% fib retracement, we've got the neckline. And so as we've talked about each day, a break of that neckline, which there's still a lot of obstacles that have to be overcome, a break of that neckline would take us down to where we had our last bullish cross. Something's out of whack. Let's see if we can fix it. Yeah, there we go. There's the bullish cross right there. Blue line crosses above the green line. So the fact that that lines right up with what would be a measured move gives me a little extra confidence in the fact that this pattern just might come together. Okay, so Garrett is now here. Garrett, I just opened up your mic and I'll pass the charts over to you as well. I can't hear you though. You got an open mic. There you go. Yep, I hear the noise now.
Hang on for me for just 1 sec, okay?
Sure, why not?
I'm on an interview right now. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You might want to get just a little closer to the microphone, but yeah.
Oh, let me see. How's that?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, and I can probably do something with the volume here. Let's see.
I'll make you the presenter real quick because
here we go. Let me click that.
We have to be done by 9:45 your time, 12:45 Eastern.
Okay.
So Michael can pop in and give us a recap of the live training room. Then we'll trade live for 30 minutes on the TradingView platform. Okay, I can see your screen.
Okay. This is recent observations I did. I hadn't, from what I had said in the last one, I really didn't have anything more to add, and that's kind of the way it worked out. This one is anyone there? And I put that in there for a lot of reasons, you know, trying to see if people are finally kind of waking up to what's going on out there, number one. And number two, there's September is such an interesting month. And this particular September, for people who look at astrology in the stock market, and I believe in the process. I just am not the person to talk to about it because I know only enough to be dangerous. But there are a bunch of planets this particular month that are retrograde. And so they're going in and out of being retrograde, and that should make for a very volatile month. And then September historically is, at least it has been, and I'll show you this chart. Can you see this okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
These are the calendar months of the year, January through December. This is the performance of those months on an individual month basis on average from 1928 until now. So that's a big sample in a lot of months. So this is for people who have an interest in seasonality, this is the kind of thing that should be pretty meaningful. It shows you, for example, that January's are pretty good months. It shows you that the last quarter of the year, the market is positive.
Mm-hmm.
It also shows you that the worst performing month by far is September.
Which
In fact,
ties into the giant head and shoulders pattern that I was just showing everyone as you came on.
Yeah. You know what? I'll put a daily chart up pretty soon, and please, I've noticed that too, and it's interesting. I notice if I just squint at this chart, you almost don't see, these are two negative months here, February and May, but you almost don't see them. It almost looks like everything's positive except for September.
Mm-hmm.
And since we're in September, just due to history, I think this is a month we really need to be aware of. Do we have a rigged market? Not my place to say, but there's a whole lot of smart people that I know who are saying stuff like that. And, and if that's the case, then, like golf, you got to play it as it lies, rigged or not. But, part of if there is a rigged market, it's going to be the Federal Reserve that is supplying money or taking money away. And apparently they've been supplying a lot of money. And the way that's kind of worked out is that those stocks that are, I don't know why this is happening per se, but you'd almost have to be blind to see that there's 7 stocks holding up this market.
Yep.
These are all elite stocks. Elite, by that I mean those people who have all the big money. Somehow it's just their stocks that are going up and everything else is going down. So anyway, that's just a simple observation, but it's a factual one. Here's a little something I wanted to add to when we get all warm and fuzzy about September here.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that might make us have second thoughts? And unfortunately there is. And what this is again, the first chart up here goes all the way, takes everything in from 1928.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this chart here goes from 1970 with the blue, and we can see with the blue it's pretty much the same. September's down here, all the other months are this time all the other months are up. So by taking the numbers and bringing them into a more present time, being in the last whatever that is 50 years or so, pretty much the same thing. And we've even eliminated February and May as negative months, but we still have, again, it's the blue. September is the worst month. Now if you go to 1991, and again, that's not 5 years ago, but it's we're talking about what, roughly the last 30 years or so,
Mm-hmm.
the last 32 years. So that's the green here, or whatever that color is. And you see, again, the fourth quarter is positive, so that hasn't changed. But lo and behold, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 negative months. September's still negative, but now you got 2 months that are more negative in the more current times. And September isn't anywhere near as bad as it was before. So what does that mean? Nothing. Every year's its own thing. And so you can't really, there's no guarantees that anything's going to change. But it just shows that for whatever reason, as we've gotten more into this nearer term situation, things have changed. And it's kind of been to the benefit of the market. You'll see that, PE ratios have changed also. I don't think I put the chart in here, but a long-term chart of PE ratios would show that they kind of were down in a lower range. Right now, if you take the long-term average going back to the 1870s, I believe, that average is about 15 or 16 as far as a PE ratio. And currently, depending upon what type of PE ratio, whether it's a Shiller PE ratio or whatever, you're as much as twice that. So we've seen from roughly this time, 1991, in fact, maybe back in the early 1980s, we've seen PE ratios in general go up quite a bit. And my view is I think this is due to, I always say that there's, every 40 years or so, something bad happens. Every 80 years or so, granted with the 10-year plateau period in between, something really bad happens. Well, what happens over that time period is debt builds up. The first 40-year period started in 1933 when the banks were closed. All debt was wiped out. We were at the bottom of the Depression, and things build up slowly from there. And that built up for 40 years to 1973. Then you had the worst recession since the Great Depression. And then you had stagflation, and then you had interest rates go to 21%, 21.5%, with the second leg of that depression from 1980 to 1982. And then, and this had essentially kept the Dow Jones Industrials at roughly 1,000 or below for 17 years. It broke out in 1983 to never look back. And coincidentally, that's when you started to have the new 40-year period of debt buildup. And this one builds up parabolically, and it has. And I think it's affected PE ratios and everything else for that matter. So maybe that's part of what's happened here. Anyway, moving along, we did have a couple of Hindenburg omens popping up. Those, when a Hindenburg omen happened, these are the 5 things that, or 5 or 6 things that have to happen in order to get what's called a Hindenburg omen. And generally they're based on market breadth, new highs and new lows, and a lot of new highs and new lows at the same time.
I think I recall 2 of those since 2006, 2005. Not sure. I would have to look it up, but go ahead.
Well, we typically, we had Hindenburg omens before the drop in 2020, and there's a tendency for them to show up. And what a Hindenburg omen basically says is that if these conditions are met to give us such a signal, then the probability for a crash increases. Number one. Number two, if you don't get a crash, the probability for whatever is less than a crash really increases. So you've got to take a look at everything else that's going on. I don't want to use this as a primary indicator, but if you've got some things that look toppy in the market and you're getting Hindenburg omens, probably a good idea to make sure you've got some stop loss orders in, or maybe you want to take some profits or whatever. A couple of things that kind of confirm that. Let me make sure I'm not running out of time on your end here. A couple of things are this happens to be a spread ratio chart. And that's in red down on the bottom. And what does that mean? Well, this takes the NASDAQ 100 and makes a spread ratio with the Dow Jones Industrials. And this is that ratio down there. So by and large, the NASDAQ 100 would be more speculative. The Dow Jones Industrials would be more conservative. And here's what that ratio looked like back in 2000. It had gone all the way up to this 0.44 level, as opposed to being, down here at 0.20. And you can take a look at the prices of the 2 indexes and see. But what happened here is this had gone way, way up, indicating that a lot of speculation was happening here. Of course, that was 2000. That's an understatement. The speculation was monumental. It was the most overbought bought market on a valuation basis of any time in U.S. stock market history. And when did this happen? Right up there at the top. Now, this chart, the market's gone up so much. This chart doesn't look like much, but this is the NASDAQ 100. And from here where you see it, I think it was 48.16, and down here to the low a couple of years later, it lost 83.5%. May not look like it on the chart there, but this was horrendous. And, you know, you're long enough now to forget that. And a whole lot of people that are in the market now weren't there in 2000. So it doesn't make any difference to them. The point being that this indicator, this spread ratio, has been way down for, we're talking, what, 22 years. It's been down most of this time. And all of a sudden, what happened? Back here in late, and again, this is the NASDAQ, in late 2021, boom, all of a sudden, we're up here to where we were back in 2000. And you go, gosh, that's incredible. Well, what happened then? Well, that's when the market topped. At least that's when the lead market, the NASDAQ 100 topped. The S&P topped in early January, a little month, 5 weeks, whatever it was later. And then we had this correction, and now we're right back up here again. Now, historically, obviously, this doesn't happen very often to a degree where this says sell, but it happened here, and you had this followed with an 83% correction. This followed with the correction we had into the October low, and I don't remember what the percentage was on that. It certainly wasn't 83%. Nowhere near it. But now you're having this happen a second time. So I'm sorry, this is the second time, but I mean a second time based on the signal that happened in 2021. We're right up there again. So this and the Hindenburg-Ullman would say, well, maybe this market is going to sell off pretty soon. I went into some other things here. Let me see this is just kind of interesting. I was just showing that kind of the censorship that came up. And I had done a search for a couple of things here, and it actually came up, and it says here, these are not the URLs you're looking for, ! And I'm, excuse me, now you're telling me what I know what I was looking for. I'm not in the loony bin yet. I knew exactly what I was looking for. And this told me that, no, that's not what you're looking for. Oh, and by the way, whether it is or not, we're not going to let you see it. And that's in America, land of the free, home of the brave. Can you imagine that? Later on, I checked something else. This is a site where you get news that is alternate news from the news that we get in our major news channel. Right. It's called censored.news. All the news they don't want you to see. And I went in there to get it, and I get this. Oops, error. Sorry, but the page you are looking for doesn't exist. And then I went to a different search engine, and oh my goodness, it actually does exist. Anyway, I'm just pointing this out. We really shouldn't have censorship, not in a free country. This I'm going to try and get with, if we have time, on a different chart where it's easier to see, and I think I'll do that. This is my acronym for the 7 stocks. G-MAN is in government man, MAT, and that stands for Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Netflix, Meta, Apple, and Tesla. Those are the 7 stocks that are keeping the market up. Let me see a little bit on censorship. Here is a little bit on the market, but let me see if I can go to this other charts here. I think this might be, yeah, this is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, we still got about 5 minutes or so left.
Yeah, let's do this quickly. This is the monthly. it looks like the red is the fast line and the yellow is the longer term line. We've come up above it and so forth, but both lines appear to be losing momentum. We go to a weekly, clearly the weekly has lost momentum, had a dead cat bounce here and is kind of flatlined. So again, no real signal there yet, but it's saying, we've lost momentum. Certainly, we've got less momentum than we had even back here, and we're flattening out again. That's kind of a danger sign. Doesn't guarantee anything, but it does say, here's where you want to really pay attention and be aware of what's going on. The daily clearly topped, came down, looks like it made roughly a 50% retracement, give or take, and it's trying to figure out which way it wants to go to. So if I go down to my weekly chart, which is the big picture, we moved up into the Bollinger Band back here, and this goes back at the top, what is that, a couple months ago, and came down, got a buy signal, and then have kind of, on the weekly, it's kind of in no man's land here. And there again are these lines, and we're just sitting right above, and it could fall and drop down. I guess we could go up here too. I think we've only got a minute or so left. Let me go down to the daily.
We got a few minutes. Sometimes he runs a few minutes late anyway, so I'll let you know.
Now you're talking about a big picture head and shoulders pattern with
on the
shoulders
S&P daily, yeah.
Shoulders here and shoulders here. And the head here.
And the 24% fib retracement that I've drawn from, I forget the low. There's a low to the left that stands out, and so we're sitting right on top of that 24% fib retracement right now. The neckline's down at the 38.
Yeah, now this would seem to be potentially ominous, and I think this is what that spread ratio chart is kind of saying, as well as the Hindenburg-Ullman. What do you think here?
Well, just a drop to the 38 would be substantial if the neckline gets broken. There's a long way to fall. Maybe as much as 400 or 500 points.
Yes, and a friend of mine who has a service called Parallax Research, Chris Kaufman, he has the real value of the S&P, and I don't know how he does that, but he's quite the quantitative guy. He has it down, as I recall it, around 3750.
Keep in mind, guys, this is a cash index chart, so it looks a lot different than the futures chart that we look at every day.
But you're still looking at, see, I've got a target down around.
But you're still able to see the same head and shoulders pattern, yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah. And you've got a target down there, what, around 4,000 and change? Well, it's down around, actually, the long-term trend line and the 200-day moving average are right down here. And I've got a longer, if we get a break, I think we go down to the 200-day moving average.
We're sitting on the 24% fib retracement right now at 4503. The neckline on the futures chart, 38% fib retracement, which is basically the neckline. That's down around 4391. And if we get a measured move from the top of the head to the neckline, then that puts us down around 4100 to 4130.
There you go. See, you're probably going to be very, very close to the 200-day moving average at that time. And the long-term trend line coming off, well, the longer-term trend line coming off the October low is down very close to this line. So, yeah, it seems if again my target's around 4330, and then if we get down there and break that. You get a surprise, and there's a lot of there's a lot of things happening on a lot of levels. Some of that, the second half of this month, you've just got an awful lot of stuff going on in a lot of areas. Let me put it that way. So a lot of these things are coming together, just kind of saying that this is an awfully good time to, this is one of those times where discipline is a lot more important than brains.
Yeah, right.
I would say. So anyhow, well, gosh, I think I used up my time. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, we always enjoy it. If you want to come back on a day later this week and expand some more on whatever happens, I think we got a FOMC, on Wednesday?
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah. And
Mm.
that's, it always seems, I hate to think that the market's tied to news, because I really do view the market as kind of an organic entity in and of itself. And I think that news is just something that happens to happen within that organic situation. However, it seems like people are waiting for the news, and
Yep.
I remember in the old days when I used to speak at those conferences, 30 years ago, and they had people would rush out at the break if there was a 10 and 15-minute break. They'd all run out because they'd always had ticker tapes at those conferences. Now, of course, you look at your phone.
Sure.
But people would rush out to the ticker tape, as if, it really had, in the overall scheme of things, it may have some meaning in the very short term, right around the time that news is reported. But I think you'd agree in the overall scheme of things, there's something bigger going on. That's just market noise. So anyhow, well, thank you so much.
All right, Garrett.
Nice to talk to you, Dwayne, and your
Good talking
audience.
to you, as always. And like I said, after the FOMC, if you want to come back on one day later this week, Thursday or Friday, just let me know.
Sure.
Right.
Would love to. Do it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dwayne. Bye.
All right, Michael, if you want to grab the screens, go ahead.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I saw Garrett had registered a little while ago.
Yeah, his regular link wasn't working. I posted it in the discussion group this morning in the live training room.
Okay. That's why I missed it. All right. Here we go.
Well, I posted it in the question box, and I posted it in the discussion group on Telegram.
Oh, I didn't see it in the question box this morning. I did not see that. It must have scrolled up out of view on me. All right. Well, either way, I'm ready to go now.
All right, take it away.
Ready? Here we go. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 18th day of September, 2023. If you've not taken a free trial with us, then go here to mytradingiq.com and just click this button right here. It says sign up for your 5-day training now, 9:30 to 11:30. Click on that, and you're gonna be sent all the information you need to get into the room in the morning. It's gonna bring you to this page. You gotta fill out this little form. When you fill out this form, if you have a TradingView ID, TradingView username, put that in. If you have a NinjaTrader machine ID, put that in, and we'll get your indicator set up for you as soon as we can. Okay, as soon as possible. You want them to be set up early on during your trial. If you don't have any of those trading platforms, then go here to the trading platforms page and download whatever trading platform you want to. Now, I use GT Pro and TradingView. The charts you're going to see right now are all TradingView charts. I use GT Pro for the longer term time frame, and I use it for the weekly trading zones, and I use it to trade. All right, but these charts right here are TradingView. Now, recap of the morning. We started out good. Well, started out well, I should say. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 18th day of September 2023. We made 42 ticks in the NQ. We made 3 ticks in the Russell. We've lost 10 ticks in crude, and we didn't make any money on gold or the ES. We didn't even trade gold or the ES. Gold, I only looked at the charts for just a minute today, and there was really nothing happening with gold. The ES gave a few trade setups, but nothing that was worth trading really. On the NQ though, it was all right. Today it took 23 minutes and 5 trades to get to the goal for the day. At that point, we're at $1,530, and we took a total of 18 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $2,827. That's over 10 business days, averaging $282 per contract per 2-hour business day. On the year, we've gotten our goal for the day on 172 out of 176 days, and that puts us at $77,752 with one contract. Okay, with one contract so far. Averaging $452 per contract per 2-hour business day. Now, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, and you would work your way up to adding one contract per month, that means you have to earn $2,000 per contract. If your goal is $100 per day, now pretty much every month has got 20 days in it. Some have a few, some have a little more, some have one less, and this is leap year. Then 2 will have more than one. Well, 1 will have more than 1 less. But anyway, if you were to add 1 contract per month, and like right now I'm trading 9 contracts because we're in the 9th month, and quit trading when you get your goal for the day. So far this year, if you did it just like me, you would have had to work 54.41 hours, just about 54.5 hours. You would have averaged $2,248 per hour. Okay. All right. So let's go look at what we did and did not do. Oh crap, I just remembered something else. I could go over here really quick and start this thing up. Hold it. I'm almost there. All right. Well, we'll look at crude oil. Right, we had just a couple of trades on crude this morning. We had, it looks like we had a few crude. Nope, we had a couple. Our first one right here was a break even, and then we had a -10. All right, now this one's too bad we got a break even on that. I wish we would have picked up some kind of profit on it, but we didn't. On this one here, we ended up with a -10, and that was all that we did with crude. But let's just look at something else really quick. Okay, I want to start that up. There was another shot here to take a crude trade. I didn't get that because I was in the training at that point. There was just another one right here. This is a beautiful crude trade right here. There was one over here. If I'd have taken it, I'd have gotten a break even. This was during the break. There was one right here. It looks like it probably would have stopped you out if you did take it. And then this one here was just a fantastic trade right there. Yeah, crude's 90.42. I kind of want to look at crude on a bigger picture because we were talking about this last week. One day, here we go. Okay, on the crude. So the high of the day today on crude is all the way up here at 91 and change. Okay. 91.36 is the high of the day on crude. Interesting. All right. Well, that was on crude. We ended up with -10 ticks on crude. The Russell, we had a couple of trades on today too, and we'll get to those. Here they are. Tell this day was kind of abbreviated here when I can go all the way back on Russell in just like one swipe. But our first trade on Russell right here, we picked up 11 ticks. The next trade, we picked up a couple more, but we had a break even there, and then we picked up a couple more here to get us to 13. And then we stopped out on this one. Now, if I'd have gotten a better fill on this, we would have gotten a break even, but as it turns out, I didn't get a better fill, and I stopped out -10 ticks, so we were at +3. Then during the training part of it, there's a whole bunch of no trade zone. I want to point out on the Russell, I changed my sensitivity, guys. On the Russell, I changed it to 0.1. From 0.05, I changed it to 0.1. Okay, because this right in here, I think, is what I was looking at. Yeah, right in here, right here, I should have had more no trade zone where I didn't. Anyway, there was a nice trade right in here that I didn't get, and a trade here that I also did not get. Then we got into the no trade zone for the rest of the morning session, and there really wasn't anything during the break. All right, so we ended with the Russell, which is +3. The ES, we didn't take any trades on. You can see the whole day on the ES right here. Really, if I shrink it up a little bit, you can see right here on the pre-market. Well, actually, this wasn't even in the pre-market. After the market opened up, there was a trade there I didn't get. There was a trade here I didn't get. And then there was just no more trades until all the way over here at 12 o'clock. 12:06 was the last valid trade on the ES. What I wanted to point out, what I will probably do when I start the live stream here in 5 minutes, I might go down to a 4-tick range. Okay. If you were to drop it to a 4-tick range, you got to change the sensitivity also. If you're going to drop it to a different range like that, you have to make sure the sensitivity is only giving you no trade zone in the flat spots. It's like 0.15. Only giving you no trade zone in the flat spots. So you're going to get more triggers. You're going to get more trade opportunities. And by dropping it down to a 4 range like this, you also have to go here to trading platforms. Not trading platforms. Go to trade rules on our website, mytradingview.com. Go to trade rules, and right here are the risk management rules for a 4-tick range. Okay, your stop's only going to be 8 ticks. Still going to go to break even after 4 in profit, but it's only going to be 8 ticks to begin with. Okay, oops, back here. That's where I want to go. So I'm going to do that in a few minutes here once I start up the live stream. All right. Does anybody have any questions about that? Anybody? Stephen S. I sent you a thing about 2 o'clock this afternoon. You have to reply to that. Okay. NQ. The NQ now. Let's pull that all the way back. All the way back. Still going. I think that's it on the NQ. All right, so here we were on the NQ. Our very first trade right here on the NQ, we picked up 4 ticks. Okay, the next one was right here. We've got a break even, another break even. Missed all those black arrows in there, and I finally waited for this green arrow right here, and I ended up with a break even on it. On this one right here, I took a black arrow on this one. I was waiting for the green arrow, but I took the first black arrow after the green arrow, and I got the 30 ticks on that. So that put us at 34, and that's where we got the call for the day. Didn't trade any of those. All those green arrows. Again, you're looking for the green arrows where the black line is in the right color, right? So green arrows with the black is in the red. Those are your higher probability green arrow trades. Okay, all through here. There. You can see I did take this one. I'm moving from 34 to 42. And then this one right here, the black was not in the right color, and I stopped out on that. I should have had my stop at break even. If I had a better fill, I would have had my stop at break even, or that might have even been the one that didn't go 8 ticks for me to put my stop at break even, but I didn't have my finger on the break even button, and it came back and took me out. I think that might have been the one that did that. But anyway, so right here we went up to 42, then we went down to 22, and then we had a break even on that one. And the next trade was right here. We picked up 30. That got us back up to 52. Then I stopped out on that, brought me down to 32. And oops, hang on a minute there, mister. Put you straight up like that. All right, close enough. And then I got into the training, and I didn't do anything until all the way over here, and I stopped out on that one, pretty much to the tick on that. Stopped out to the tick, and that put us down to 12. All right, and then I took this one right here, gave me another 30, put me up to 42. And that's why I took that break even, and I believe that's where I ended it. Yeah, it is where I ended it after the break even trade. During the break, there was another opportunity right here that I didn't get, and here that I didn't get. You needed to put in a higher swing, though. I think I was in a meeting with Shalithia. I was in a meeting, and we were going over how that did not put in a higher swing, so you wouldn't take this trade. You wouldn't take this trade. This one here, you finally put in a higher swing, so you could take that, but because that didn't put in a higher swing, you wouldn't take that. Anyway, on and on it went. And this one just triggered here a few minutes ago, and this one triggered as well. This would have been a break even. This would have been a plus 30. It's changed directions here, so now I would look for it to pull back up and test the ribbon. Okay, so that was our morning session. We did with, I'm trying to refresh this. We ended with plus 42 on the NQ. All right, plus 42 over there. And let me shut that off. There we go. All right, so we ended with plus 42 on the NQ. And So it's time to get into the live stream. If you've gotten a free trial with us and you want to, go get mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here. All right. Let's get into the live stream. Remember, I'm on a 4-tick range here on the ES. So I'm going to look for the same type of trade setups, but now when I place my orders, you're not going to be hearing me say it's 8 ticks from the top to the bottom. It's going to be 5 ticks from the top to the bottom. Okay, it's going to be 5 ticks from the top to the bottom. So let me hit the live stream. It is okay. All right, here we go. Live stream is running. So there's our first trade right there on the NQ, shorting opportunity right there on the NQ. With the green arrow short, this is after a direction change. So this is a valid trade, a valid short right here. I just took it. I'm sorry I didn't bring my down over and show you. I just took that and I just stopped out. Did not go far enough into profit to get the stop to break even. That was my very first trade of the session right now, the live stream. And that one just stopped me out. I can show you my down, but it's good. See, it stopped me out. It really did. We don't have anything here on the ES. We're in a no trade zone now. Mind you, the ES I switched to a 4-tick range, and so on a 4-tick range, the sensitivity is set to 0.15. The stop is 8 ticks on a 4-tick range on the ES. Now we only did that because we weren't getting any trades here on the 7-tick range. All right. The Russell is in a no trade zone. We had plenty of trades on the Russell this morning, so I'm not going to change that. And crude oil over here on the left, crude, we rolled to the X contract this morning, and that is on a 7 range. I normally have gold over there on a 7 range, but gold really didn't give any trade setups today, so we stuck with crude, and crude rolled over today. So we're on the X contract on crude. Okay. All right. So now we wait. If you're watching in the live stream and you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here, mytradingiq.com. Okay. I can't type that in. I have 1 day left of my punishment for typing it in one time. So I can't type that in. You got to go to mytradingiq.com. There is one other way you can do it. If you go to the live stream thing, let me see if we can find that. Here it is. If I take a picture of it, this was morning here in the live stream. In the live stream, there's this right here. Okay, these are your charts in the live stream, and underneath your charts down here, it's right down there. That is how you take the free trial if you're watching the live stream. Click on that thing right down there. All right. Yes. I will be released from my ban of commenting after today. And I figure tomorrow I won't be able to come in here and do this because I have a doctor's appointment. But I'll be back Wednesday. There is one thing I will be able to do tomorrow morning, though. For those of you guys that are on live stream, if you want to jump into the morning session live stream, it's in the same thing. You go to community live streams. In upcoming streams, you'll see us in there, right, for the morning live stream. We'll be able to jump into that one tomorrow morning at 9:15 a.m. Eastern time. Right, we're in no trade zones here on all 3 of these markets. So even going to a 4 range here on the ES hasn't helped. We need to pull back here on the crude oil. Hopefully we'll get that. But right now we've got nothing. In the live stream, anybody that's watching the live stream, if you want to see anything other than futures, and you want to see a stock symbol, anything like that, just let me know. Okay. One of the things we looked at last week was Boeing, right? BA. Oh, Boeing, the company. And last week we had said look for it to get up to 220, didn't we? I'm pretty sure. When we were looking at it, we were looking at it on hourly. And it was over here somewhere, I think, when we were looking at it at that time. And I said, look for it to drop 2 points. And then we looked at it on the daily. And on the daily, it was looking like it's going to get up to here, right? Now it's 217, but 220 is what I was at last week. So it did drop a couple of points from where it was. And I'd be looking for a pullback on that now. I was looking for a pullback last week, too. So we'll see what happens. That's what Boeing looks like to me. What was this? Russell RTY. We'll go on the C contract on that. And we'll go back to a 7 range on that. Excellent. All right. Yeah, that's what you asked me. That's what you asked me last week. Was it you last week, Rohit? That asked about the short trade in Boeing last week? And I said last week, when that question was asked, I said it looks like it's going to go down a couple of bucks from where it was, but on a bigger picture, it looks like it's going to retrace. It looked like then it looks like it was going to retrace to 220. Now it's looking like 217. Okay, but when that question was asked last week, I said I think it's going to drop a couple more bucks from where it is, but then I think it's going to retrace. So bigger picture is going to retrace. I don't remember last week. Was it you that asked the question about Boeing last week? Robert, T83. Because I think the question we posed to you when you asked about that was, are you day trading or is it an investment? Are you swing trading? And I think you said you were swing trading. So right now, I wouldn't short it right now. No, would be the answer on that. All right, so the NQ put in a lower swing. It's pulling back up. It's out of the no trade zone. The ES is also out of the no trade zone. The Russell looks like it's going to be out of the no trade zone, but I'm not sure yet. The crude oil needs to pull back. We're in the overbought air on the crude. After the direction change, we did get one green arrow, so that's good. We could take a black arrow here on the crude if we get it. Okay. Let me see. Everybody who's out here watching right now. There's the short on the crude right there. That black arrow is the short on crude right here at 90.17. David W., did you ever get that email from GoToWebinar? You should have gotten one directly from GoToWebinar this morning. Yeah, I know I sent you the link, but to GoToWebinar, did you get it from them too? You should have gotten one from them too. It's the short on the crude oil. 90.17 was the spot to get it. I had myself stop limit at 90.16. It should get down to right here at least. Okay. Yeah, he had registered. I just didn't know if you had said it earlier. It might have gone to a spam, but he got it right after I sent the link to him, I guess. Because I think it's still sending it out based on the 9:30 schedule, not the 9:15 schedule. I think. Not sure about that. Seems like there are a lot of people that were registered before the 9:30 or 9:15. Oh, good. Okay, so everybody was getting it. All right, so we didn't get four ticks in profit yet on this, so we can't bump the stop to break even yet on this. All these yellow lines that you see that I have drawn on here were from things that were happening earlier at some earlier point in time. So I can remove all of those. Not to say that they're not important anymore, but I don't remember what they were. Like this one here was a weekly trading zone up above us this morning. Did we ever hit that weekly trading zone? 55. No, it doesn't look like we did. Okay, that's still the weekly trading zone up above us. So in the bigger picture, the NQ in the bigger picture is kind of messy. Let me bring that down back up. Hang on. Do this, and I forget I got it going on here. Click that. All right, so in the bigger picture, the NQ has been kind of messy all day. Go look at that really quick. Here it is. So this says we did go up and hit that weekly trading zone. Did I not have it in the right place? Looks like we're going to stop out on that. We did stop out on the crude. Did I not have that in the right place here? 55. This is the NQZ. QZ, what was that? 1230. Was I not looking at the right thing? Oh, right here. We hit it right here. Okay, so we did hit the weekly trading zone. That was what I had on there earlier this morning. Right, so I just stopped out on that. We didn't go enough into profit bump to stop to break even. So this has not been productive live stream session yet. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. This morning, we finished the morning with plus 42 on the NQ, plus 3 on the Russell, and minus 10 on crude. That's how we finished the morning session. Anybody that's watching the live stream right now, if you want to see anything other than futures, you just got to tell me what you want to see. Okay, it could be stocks, ETFs, crypto, anything you want. Totally forgot what I was just going to say. All right, so on the crude, it stopped us out on this black arrow right here. Right now, if I'd have gotten a better entry, 17 down to 12, if I'd have gotten an exact correct entry on that, and I didn't, then I should have had my stop at break even, but it didn't work out. So I'm not going to trade in that direction again now until it does continue the trend. Right, so I probably won't get another trade on the crude in this session. The NQ, I wanted that to pull back and test the ribbon here. This one stopped us out, but it did end up going down the way that it should go. Right, it pulled back just enough to stop us out. And now we've got a little bit lower swing here. I wanted to pull back from a lower swing here would be much better. Okay. And over here on the Russells, we need that to pull back a little bit. Okay. All right, so that's gone down a little bit further. This needs to give us a lower swing. The ES, even though I went to a 4-tick range, still isn't giving us anything right now. So we don't really have anything happening there. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com. Sign up for the free trial right here. Okay, that's how you get the free trial. I'm going to save this right now. Stephen S. I haven't gone to look at my email since I said this to you, but you need to let me know about this afternoon. Okay. Or check your email. We have a little bit lower swing right here. I want that to pull back up. The NQ is pulling back now. It's just about up to the ribbon. There it is on the ribbon now, and we're overbought. So 36.50 down to 32.50 right now on the NQ is what you'd be looking at. All right, 4 points from the top of the bar. So now it's going to be 33. Again, 4 points from the top of the bar. 37 down to 33. And I'm not taking anything over here on crude until it puts in a lower swing or changes directions. On the ES, we're still looking for that to pull back up, test the ribbon, and give us a down close. And on the Russell, we're just going sideways. So not a whole lot happening. Right, we're looking for the down close here on the NQ here. Can all watch it together and see what happens. There it is. It gave me the down close. It triggered me in. It slipped me a tick. See what happens with it. It should go down here, right, to 28.75. Should make it down here. Now I need 8 ticks in profit to bump the stop to break even. I'm going to lock in a little bit. All right. And we have a 30 tick target on it. Now, It should go down to 28.75. It should go through 28.75, right? Just to have a little profit. It should go through 28.75. But you see how simple that was, right? You just take the green arrow off the ribbon. It should drop down below this level right now. And if we go over here and we look at the bigger picture, the weekly trading zones and all that, blue and climbing is what Dwayne calls this in the bigger picture, is right here at 422, right? That's your next level of support. And below that, you have the BBC at 411. So 422 is right here. That's what I think it's probably going for right now. Right? It's the MA1 on the bigger picture. Okay, so if you're still in it, that's what you should be looking for. It should probably bounce when it gets to that level right there. Okay. So right down to there. Be golden. If we get a pullback before it gets down there, that's still a good target number. Okay. If we happen to get the pullback. On the crude oil, we finally got the lower swing that we were looking for. Okay. So now we need that to pull back and give us an opportunity over there. The ES is just not giving us anything. Not a single trade today on the ES bars. On a 4 range, it would have been okay. Would have given us a little opportunity, but bigger picture. 7 range it did. All right, so now we're testing the ribbon again here. We're not overbought, so we're not going to have an arrow on this. Okay, 33.50, 34 down to 30 right now. It's not going to give an arrow on the overbought. If the black stays in the red, it would be a ribbon trade without the slingshot. Okay, it would be in the trade rules. Well, I have my order waiting right here, but my order actually needs to be bumped up 2 ticks. That's kind of what I'm waiting to see. Yeah, if it closes up like that. All right, now we're still not in the overbought. So now 37.75 down to 33.75 is what you'd be looking at, and there it is, 37.75 down to 33.75. Now this is not a valid trade. Okay, this is not a valid trade because this did not come out of the overbought, because this is not in the red. It's not a trade. Okay. I was just gonna go back and look at the rules with you just to show you that. A short trade without the slingshot, black line and ribbon, must be on the bottom and in the green. All right. That's a long trade. Sorry. A short trade without the slingshot back line must be on the top and in the red, and price must touch ribbon on the pullback. With the slingshot, it must be on the top and in the red or silver. But in this case, it was without the slingshot and it was not in the red. Okay. See down here, it didn't get into the overbought, and this was not in the red, so that is not a valid trade. Okay. If this didn't get into the overbought and this was in the red, then that'd be okay. But it's not, so it's not a valid trade. Okay. Following the rules. Over and over and over again. Every day. If you're following in the live stream and you have any questions, just type into live stream. But if you want to take the free trial, go here at tradingiq.com. Sign up for the live stream right here. Click on that. Fill out this form. When you fill out this form, give us your TradingView ID right here. Where's it? Right here. Give us the TradingView ID if you're using TradingView. Okay. Simple as that. The crude oil is pulling back. It's got a lower swing. It doesn't have to hit the ribbon on the pullback, but it does have to get into the overbought without hitting. Okay. Now, this is still not a trade over here. You see how the green and the red context in the background are getting really close right here. not likely to give us any kind of a trade. Right? We just went right into a no trade zone. Jump in here and see. Anybody asks for anything else? I don't see over there in the live stream. Nobody's asked for anything over there. So we'll just have to wait. On the ES now, we are pulling back on the 4 range now. We're pulling back up toward the ribbon. We haven't gotten there, but we are in the overbought. So on the 4 range on the ES, we're going to be looking for 5 ticks below the top of the bar. So it's not going to be 870. It's not going to be 775. It's going to be 750 is what you'd sell. Right? It's not going to be 825. It would be 8 even is what you'd sell right now. And that would be a green arrow at 8 even. If you get a down close right here and it pulls it out of the overbought, you'd have a green arrow on this. If it doesn't pull it out of the overbought, it's still a valid trade. Right now, this is a 4 range, so it's 5 ticks from the top of the bar is what you want to sell. 5 ticks from the top of the bar. So the top of the bar right now is, well, now the top of the bar is at 925. So you'd be selling 8 even right now. Okay. Like this. Okay, and if it fills, I'll adjust my stop accordingly. And there it is. It just filled. It gave me some slippage. And it messed that one all up. Okay, so I'm going to put my stop 8 ticks away from here. It's going to be right here. Right, 8 ticks from where it filled is where my stop belongs. And that should go down to at least right here to 650. It should not continue up, but it did continue up. But it should not continue up. And so that one stopped me out. Boy, this has not been a good live stream for me. We had a good trade here on the NQ. We had a stop out on the NQ. We had a stop out on the crude. And we now had to stop out on the ES. It has not been a good live stream for me today. Oh well. It just shows that it's real. Can't win every single day. Though I do most of the days. It's now 1:22, so we have 8 minutes left in here, guys. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on this, take a free trial. Oops. This is where we stand. Actually, this is where we stand on the month. We're 10 days in. We're up $2,827 with 1 contract. On the year, $77,752 with 1 contract. Okay, if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day and add 1 contract per month, the hourly rate, if you do that, be $2,248 an hour. All right. So we're in the overbought now on the crude oil. We're not touching the ribbon, but we're in the overbought. We came off our lower swing. Our long-term direction is bearish. So this would give us a black arrow on a short right now if it pulled out of the overbought. Okay, it would give us a black arrow on the short if it pulled out of the overbought. It's $90.11 minus 8, be $90.03 is what you'd be looking at. Possibly. You gotta wait until it gives a down close because there's no guarantee it's gonna pull out of the overbought. Okay, in this case. Okay, it did pull it out of the overbought, so it is a valid trade. So here it is. It's a valid trade from 90.03. And the number that it had given me a little while ago, back here when it stopped me out, it hit that number. It went right through that number, hit that number, went through it, put in a new low of the day. So it was a great move down. It just stopped me out. And that happens. All right, over here on the NQ right now, we're getting a little bit of a trend change right here on the NQ. Right, well, this is stop. The right place should be 10 ticks away. It is. Okay. the long-term direction is starting to change to bullish over here on the NQ. That's what I was talking about. Right, the ES is going flat. We're not going to have anything there on the ES. As a matter of fact, I'm going to flip it's 125. We're not going to get another trade here on the ES, so I'm just going to bump that back to a 7 range. Change this back so I don't forget about it. And then I'm doing the wrong thing. Now watch the crude oil. That should, once we get 4 ticks in profit, we're going to bump that stop to break even there on the crude. Okay, and it's looking like right down here is where it wants to go to. Now I automatically have a 30 tick target on, so I can just drag that up and drop it there. And that will cover my OCO. Okay, slide that over there. Keep an eye on that. Now, here the NQ is changed directions. It's gone bullish on us. So what we want with that is pull back down to test the ribbon. We need one more tick there. Stop to break even on the crude. Okay, gonna lock in just one tick on that. And the swing low is right here at 93. It's the low of the day is the swing low. It should go through that down to this number that we have right there. Okay, so that's what we'll look for over there. And back over here on the NQ, we want to pull back down to test the ribbon right now. Okay, we'll pull back to test the ribbon on the NQ. The crude is starting to move down. As it gets down here to the low of the day, I'm going to lock in a little bit more profit. Because it might just bounce off the low of the day. I think it wants to go through it, but it might just bounce. So we'll lock in just a little bit of profit on that. Well, here on the NQ, we want that to pull back down and test the ribbon. That's what we want to see there. Lock in a little bit more profit on the crude. And yes, anybody that's watching in the live stream right now, if you're just coming onto the live stream, if you like what you see and you want to take a free trial, we have a free trial right here. Oops, hang on. Okay, so we took some profit on that. The free trial is right here at mytradingiq.com. Right here. Click on that. Sign up for the free trial. Okay. That's going to bring you to this page. When you get on this page, give us your TradingView username and TradingView login ID. And we'll set your indicators up for you right away. Now, over here on the crude, it should go through the prior swing low by a few ticks. Okay, that's what it should do right now. It's 128. The only other trade that's going to set up in time might be the NQ right here. See where we're sold on the NQ? We're sold on the NQ, so what we will need is something to pull us out of this. I'd really rather go down and hit the ribbon though. I don't want to take a black arrow on this. I want to hit the ribbon and give us a green arrow. If it does hit the ribbon, it bounces off the ribbon right here, like this. That will get the green arrow, right? That's what I would prefer to have. And fortunately, it's given it to us. We get the low here of 41.5, so we'd be buying 44.5. I mean, 45.5, sorry. 45.5. Add 4 to the bottom of the bar. Right. Oops. 45.75. Add 4 to the bottom. I mean, the bottom is right there. The low of the bar is 41.75. Add 4 to that. It'd be 45.75 is what you'd be buying on it. 45.75. Just like this. Buy stop limit 1 tick above where that bar is going to close. Now, if you don't understand why the bar is going to close there, and that was part of today's lesson plan. Right now we just went much lower, but let's just look at that 39.50 up to 43.50 right now. Again, if you don't understand why the bar is going to close there, the bar is going to close here at 43.25. Okay, if it closes up, it's going to be at 43.25. And so I have my buy stop limit 1 tick above where the bar is going to close. If you don't understand how I knew that ahead of time, then you should take the free trial. Okay. Now we need 8 ticks in profit to bump the stop to break even. You see, I got some slippage on that. It just put me in. I got some slippage. I'm pretty sure I should have had my stop at break even already, but I'm gonna let this run and give me 8 ticks in profit. We have a 20 tick stop on this. It should be pretty close to 20 ticks anyway. 5 points is right there. So we have a 20 tick stop. And this looks like it's going to be our last trade of the live stream session. And we need 8 ticks. It's got to get up to right here. Right, just a couple more ticks. Couple more. It's almost there. Almost. One more. There it is. Stop to break even. Okay. Now I have a 30-tick target on it also. So if it runs up to the prior swing high, which is all the way up here at 53, then it's definitely going to hit my 30-tick target. Okay, I'm going to lock in just a little bit of profit on this. And if I put the target up at 53.75 up here where the swing high is, then I think it's going to hit that too. Right, but I'm going to lock in some more on this. I'll just lock in 4 ticks in profit. When I say lock in, what I mean is I'm going to bring my stop where the minimum that I'm going to get, excluding slippage, is going to be right here, where it's going to trigger the exit. Be right here. Okay, so now I'm going to lock in 8, 12. Okay, so 30 was right here, was 30. Okay, but I think it's going to go up to and through the prior swing high. So I'm going to lock in 16, 20. This is the prior swing right there. Okay, and it took me out with plus 20 ticks. So that is it. That is going to wrap it up for us, I guess, for the live stream. If you have not taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, sign up for the free trial right here. If you like what you see, you get the indicators. The only way to get the indicators is to sign up for the free trial, right? If you're watching this in the live stream, the only way that you can get the indicators is to sign up for the free trial. All right. We will do another live stream tomorrow morning at 9:15. To sign up for that, you just need to go to the same way you got in here. Go to community live streams and look at upcoming streams. All right. But the only way you're going to get the indicators is to sign up. That's it for the live stream. And that is done. All right, Dwayne. You can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona in Studio A, overlooking southbound America's largest city park. If you are ready, and there it goes.
Yep. Recap of the morning session.
Today it took 23 minutes and 5 trades to get to $1,530.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we already covered this. We were on logic 247, 4 for 4. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, haven't put anything out yet today, but I still may. Definitely a possibility. And on the concierge trade alerts, those came out last night at 6:10 p.m. Eastern. I do my best to get them out as soon as I can after the Globex Open last night. I put these out ahead of the logic alerts. Every member, every trial member got these numbers last night at 6:10 p.m. Eastern. So what do you do when you get the report? First thing you do is, for the markets that you trade on your 30-minute chart, make note of where price is at the time the report comes out. It'll always be between these two numbers. Then draw a line in the sand at the long target, a line in the sand at the short target. Those will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. Price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. Gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. Pretty simple. Look left to spot potential obstacles, previous swing highs, swing lows, which could become resistance or support, and learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. Published the zone since December 14th of 2009. quite a long time. They come out at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. That gives all of our traders an opportunity to get them on their charts, or Wall Street even wakes up for the week. Now, because this broadcast is open to the public, if you're not a member or trial member, you didn't get these last night at 6:10. So you can grab a screenshot, or if you're watching this video after the fact, watching this after the fact as a video because we're broadcasting live, just hit the pause button, jot down any numbers that are important to you. Okay. Price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night till they close Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern. Price is above the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to get to the zone overhead. Price is below the 30-minute BBC. It's trying to get to the zone below. Pretty simple. Okay. Now, this is the futures chart. As you can see, it looks different than the cash index chart that Garrett was showing because you can't actually trade the cash index because it's an index. Man had to create derivatives like futures and options so that the index could be traded. So I'll always show you the futures chart because that's what you can actually trade. A measured move from the top of the head to the neckline would bring us basically to this bullish cross that led to an extended move. Very extended. These are daily candles. But before that can happen, and when price returns to the area of the bullish cross, we expect support, at least the first time down. Certainly good enough for a bounce. Now keep in mind, now that we've adjusted the fibs to compensate for rolling forward to yet another new contract, the top of the head to the 38, that's now the neckline. That brings you through the 50, which should be good for a bounce, through the 62, which should be good for a bounce. And if we get a measured move, this is where it would take us, and expect to find support. Two separate reasons. The vertical line on the 30-minute chart separates today, Monday, from last week, Friday. Keep in mind that today began last night, right here, at 6 p.m. Eastern. 10 minutes into the session is when the CTA numbers wiggle it out. These are last week's zones. The zones are published for our members at 6:15 a.m. Eastern every Monday morning. So on Sunday night, all alerts that are issued are based on last week's zones. So these are last week's zones. Tomorrow, I will have updated the zones to this week's zones, which were published this morning. But zones have carryover effect. As you can see, when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance. When price drops to a zone, we expect support, 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 resistance. When price moves up to a zone, resistance. And these are last week's zones. But again, zones have carryover power. We did not reach either the short target or the long target because price has just been trading sideways in this zone from last week. On the Dow, pretty much the same story. We did reach down on this 30-minute candle and touch the short target. Basically, we're flat and sideways. Could be this way through Wednesday when the Fed makes their announcement. The Russell opened below the BBC with red and falling right here. So we expect lower prices. Price drops to the zone, support. When the market finds support, it will go look for resistance. Pull back to the BBC. holds more often than not. Whether you're on a daily chart or a 30-minute chart, larger the chart, greater probability of the pullback holding. So you go from resistance to support, to resistance to support, to resistance to support. Now this support, as you can see, this is Monday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Today's low was established last Wednesday, literally to the tip. 1854.10, 1854.10, exactly to the tick. When you hear me say price flows the same across all markets and all time frames, why is that? Price flows from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. Doesn't matter what market. Doesn't matter if it's a futures contract, it's an individual stock, if it's crypto, if it's Forex, if it's an ETF. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again, never-ending cycle. 1, 2, 3 trading days ago to the tick. And we hit the short target. On the NQ, we stayed trapped between the zones, as we did on the previous market. Just kind of roll sideways. We did drop down to the zone where we expect support, which rallied us up to the zone where we expect resistance, which sent us back down to the zone, which sent us back up to the zone. The market is attempting to overcome the zone, but unfortunately, or not unfortunately, just what it is, Friday's high, this candle right here, this high right here. So prices above the BBC, so we would anticipate higher prices. We have blue and climbing, we would anticipate higher prices. However, the resistance price established Friday has now carried over through Sunday night and into Monday. So if price gets below the BBC and below this low, then you got a window of opportunity from 15,384 down to 15,374. It's $200 per contract traded. Sideways. Sideways markets are where most traders lose most of their money. When the market drops like this, like it did on Friday, I mean, basically all you had to do is be short. On a day like this, not the same story. That's why it's important that you learn to use multiple time frames, which when you become a passport holder, we will teach you all about. Okay. They rolled crude to the X contract this morning. This was issued off of the V contract. So we opened here, a little pullback, got above red and falling, turned it to blue and climbing, hit its target, hit the zone resistance. Pull back to the BBC, overshot it just a little bit, enough to run into this support right here, which sent us back up to the zone and above the zone. Now, this was last week's highest weekly trading zone, I do believe. Yep, 9160/65. That was the last week's highest weekly zone. Again, tomorrow, the new zones will on my chart. But everything that goes out as far as an alert on Sunday night is based on the previous week's zones, because the new zones don't come out till Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So here's where we opened last night on gold, and red and falling turned to blue and climbing. We above the BBC, and it took us just shy, 4 ticks shy of the long target. Then we came back to the zone and consolidated for many hours. That's what happens at a zone 70% of the time. Consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, a slice. So after all these hours of consolidation, price began to move. That perfect stack, price, step line, blue and climbing, BBC, took us right up to last week's zone at 54/55. Silver went from the open up to the target, long target, and the zone overhead. It sent us back to the zone below, sent us back to the zone overhead, pull back to the BBC, tested the zone again. When the market finds resistance, it will go look for support, which it found at the zone. Now, these are the zones that were issued last Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. But they're still doing their job. And then from this zone, make it back up to the long target again. And we're consolidating at the zone 2347/48. And on the euro. Here's where we opened last night. Pushed up to the zone. Just sideways trade. This is not tradable market conditions. You've got to, it's more important to learn when not to trade than knowing when to trade. If you had to choose between the two, choose knowing when not to trade. Because if you only traded when it was time to trade, then guess what? Your results would be good. So once we break through this zone, where do we go? To the next zone. And what do we find? Resistance. We hit the long target on the way. True resistance came at the zone. Remember, price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. It's above the BBC. It's trying to reach the zone overhead. Now the step line here is starting to hook right. When the step line crosses blue and climbing, most likely you'll see a pullback to the BBC. Pullback holds, and we'll get another opportunity to trade on the upside. But you got to wait for the pullback. You got to wait for it to hold or not hold. Doesn't hold, and you've got some areas down here that are tradable. It brings us around the world back to the daily chart. We're sitting right on top of that 24% fib retracement. Remember, the neckline's down at the 38. And if we break that neckline, here's your measured move. Okay. It's a move of, a little over 400 points, give or take. Now, this support area right here, beside the fib, is the low of August 29th, low of September 7th, and we haven't quite touched it today. We got red and falling overhead. We're below the BBC. So there's more obstacles to overcome on the upside than there are on the downside. If price breaks this line right here, and we've got a low here, and then a low here, which is right at the 38. To become a lifetime member, go to eminifuturestrading.com. Click the button. It works now. If you have questions, call Valerie at 949-42-EMINI or send an email to support@cfrn.net. 9 out of 10 new traders will fail because they don't have someone to teach them how to do the job. That's why we have 2 hours of live training every trading day, 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. As a passport holder, you'll have lifetime access to the live training room. You'll have lifetime access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring. The strategy you learn and the indicators you own for life as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, Forex, ETF. As a passport holder, you receive the Logic 247 alerts around the clock, concierge trade alerts when they're posted, and of course, you have access to the members only workshop Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, and you'll have access to the Telegram channel so that you can go back and watch previous workshops if you like, or if you miss a Thursday night for whatever reason, you're busy doing live, you can always watch it, the following day or over the weekend. eminifuturestrading.com. You get a little pop-up when you go there. Just click OK. That'll take you to the payment page, and we'll get your desktop set up, get your indicators indicating, and you'll be ready to begin the learning process. You will end up in this group or this group. If you want a fighting chance at actually being a part of this group, you are going to need someone to teach you how to do the job. It's not us. Find somebody, because it's not going to happen on its own. All right. Let's wrap it up with our good word for the day. Growing older with grace. Part 1. Proverbs 10:27. If you respect the Lord, you will live longer. Does the thought of aging make you anxious? If so, it's time to re-examine your value system. With God, the contents are more important than the package. And in order to make peace with your wrinkles, you must come into agreement with it. Ultimately, it's not the number of days in your life that count, but the quality of life in your days. I'll say that again. It's not the number of days in your life that count, but the quality of life in your days. Jesus' first miracle was turning water into wine. Note what the host of the wedding reception said. John 2:10. Everybody brings out the choice wine first, but you have saved the best till now. And that can be the story of your life too. You don't have to suffer through geroskophobia. That's the fear of aging. Keep fighting, keep growing, and keep moving forwards. Listen to the words of Caleb. For my part, I wholeheartedly followed the Lord my God. Moses solemnly promised me, the land of Canaan on which you were just walking will be your grant of land and that of your descendants forever. Now, as you can see, the Lord has kept me alive and well as he promised for all these 45 years since Moses made this promise. even while Israel wandered in the wilderness. Today, I am 85 years old. I am as strong now as I was when Moses sent me on that journey. And I can still travel and fight as well as I could then. So give me the hill country that the Lord promised me. So Joshua blessed Caleb and gave Hebron to him as his portion of the land. That's Joshua 14, 8 through 13. And that's called growing older with grace. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.